The SEC told an appeals court that Coinbase hasn't shown the regular needs to create a new regulatory framework for the digital asset industry. Joining us now to discuss is CoinDesk Global Policy and Regulation Managing Editor, Nick Day, who is also the editor of CoinDesk's State of Crypto newsletter. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning.
All right, what's going on here? Coinbase filed its original petition with the SEC in July of 2022, and we had some movement yesterday. What happened?
Yeah, so last month, as we all know, the Coinbase filed a mandamus petition with the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, basically saying, hey, can you force the SEC to move faster on getting back to these, list of whatever, 50-something questions that we had. And the SEC filed this response last night, basically saying it's only been 10 months, chill. That's really, I think, a fair summary of what it is. The SEC basically made the case that, what Coinbase filed originally was, I think, 50 questions with 60 sub-questions. So it's a long and, obviously not a simple thing to respond to. B, that they put it out for public comment, received more than 1,600. The vast majority seemed to be form letters, and then 8 of them were original letters, 3 of which came from from Coinbase itself. And in the meantime, of course, the backdrop to this is the SEC saying they might sue Coinbase over potential securities law violations. The SEC pointed, one of the SEC's arguments is that while it's responding to rulemaking petitions, it still has to enforce existing laws and regulations. So there's no real mismatch there. Basically making the case that Coinbase's mandamus petition is kind of premature and not really up to what it is the SEC is doing.
CoinDesk Chief Legal Officer Paul Graywall has been tweeting about this. What's he saying?
I actually have not seen the tweets. I'm sure if I had to guess, he's probably saying that the SEC has to, there we go. Yeah, the clarity question is, kind of the one the industry has been playing on. It kind of goes back to this fundamental question of, are crypto securities in the U.S.? And it is a very U.S.-centric question, of course. The SEC has its own view. Crypto companies have their own view. Crypto company views tend to be, not every crypto is a security. The SEC is kind of taking a different tack. It's one of those fundamental questions where there's really a difference of opinion on a philosophical level between the regulators and the company and the industry. So that's kind of what they're trying to go navigate here, right? Crypto companies like Coinbase are trying to convince the SEC or, a court maybe that some of these are not securities. And the SEC is kind of, with the existing authorities it has, the SEC has got this, it's in this place where it can enforce, some of the regulations that we've seen, bring enforcement actions, do all that. And, if it has to clarify some of these things, it might become a little bit more difficult or, it might be a bit more of, if it starts to define these things, they're going to have a lot more stuff to deal with from the industry in terms of, presumably, probably a little bit of dissatisfaction and more, a lot more back and forth, I would guess.
All right, we'll keep watching what happens between Coinbase and the SEC. Nick, thank you for joining us this morning. That was CoinDesk Global Policy and Regulation Managing Editor, Nick Day. Don't forget to sign up for the State of Crypto newsletter on CoinDesk.com.